Well, continuing to monitor the tropics with Hurricane Rafael. This was upgraded from a tropical storm as of yesterday evening. Now winds sustained of 100 miles an hour, so this is good enough for Category 2 status and a central pressure of 964 millibars, as Rafael is currently located just to the south of the western edge of Cuba, already having hurricane impacts on that western edge of the country and going to continue to do so over the next couple of hours. So the consensus with the cone is Rafael is going to maintain Category 2 status before getting bumped down to Category 1 status as it makes a westward turn into the Gulf of Mexico, and then even further weaken as it goes into that northwestern quadrant of the Gulf of Mexico, back down into tropical storm status. We're still expecting some strong wind shear to really decapitate Hurricane Rafael, and also expected to really stall here in this portion of the Gulf, maybe not even make a landfall whatsoever. But obviously you can see how wide the cone is once we get over here, so still going to continue to keep an eye on Rafael. But the good news is it is trekking further and further away from us here in central Georgia. Although Rafael is not going to really come close to us, at least that center portion of the storm, going to run over that western edge of Cuba and into the southeast Gulf of Mexico later on this evening, already sending its fair share of moisture up here into the southeast. You can see widespread rain all over the state of Georgia, mainly in the southeastern half of the state, according to our graph model run. And the center of Rafael still remains very, very far away from us, really churning right in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico and not going to make any potential landfall near us here in the state of Georgia. But let's take it through future view. We're going to get the rain showers going here in the next couple of hours. By about the midday hour, starting to see some heavier bands of rain move into our southern counties, but going to be light scattered showers for the northern half of central Georgia around midday. Heavier rain is going to be more widespread as we go throughout the afternoon. So around 4 or 5 o'clock, when many of you are making your evening commute home from work, definitely going to see our fair share of heavy showers embedded within this swath of moisture and the swath of rain that's moving over the central Georgia area. But according to our future view model run, we are seeing some kind of shift in the direction of this rain, maybe a little bit further over to the east, and then this activity really fizzles on out in terms of how much rain we do get. A couple of scattered showers and a couple of heavier showers still going to be present as we go throughout Thursday morning on into Thursday afternoon, and maybe lingering a little bit into Thursday night, but that's when the activity really looks to slow on down as we go throughout the end of the work week. Now that takes us on into Friday at midnight, and this is just what one model run does say, because when I pop it over to our excessive rainfall outlook and then the flood watch right after this, you'll see that we have been upgraded to a moderate risk of some heavy rainfall here in central Georgia. This is going to be for today, and numerous flash floods are going to be likely in all these areas outlined in the red. Now, just a little bit less of a risk for areas outlined in the yellow to our northwest of this red area and down to our southeast the further that you go down I-16. So still looking at our fair share of rain in the central Georgia area and in the eastern portion of the state as all of this moisture does move through. So this has prompted a flood watch. This is going to last from 1 p.m. on Wednesday all the way until 7 p.m. on Thursday. Low-lying areas near bodies of water are definitely going to be more susceptible to flooding, and this flood watch does exist for basically all of the central Georgia area. The only two counties not included in this are Lamar County, just to the west of Forsyth, and Monroe County here, and then Upson County are the only two areas that we don't quite have as much confidence right now that we are going to see the puddling up of water. And in terms of these flash flood risks, we're going to continue to keep an eye on that and keep a close eye on the radar to see if those heavy showers really stay put over the same areas. And it's like when you're overwatering a plant. Obviously, when you put too much water in a potted plant, that water sits on top of all of the soil, and it takes some time to really get down there into the soil at the bottom of the pot. So that's exactly what a flash flood is. Obviously, if you see any areas of water that are puddling on up, it is important to remember to turn around, don't drown. No matter how deep or shallow really that puddle of water does look, definitely don't want to be driving through it because it could have some bad consequences. Now taking a look at the GFS and the Euro models run of the potential rainfall amounts, obviously looking at East Georgia and then central Georgia here, we're looking at heavier rainfall total accumulations, maybe upwards to about 3-4 inches. The National Weather Service has highlighted that some areas could even get up to about the 6-inch mark. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that. that, whereas the Euro model hinting at maybe some rain further up to the north here in central Georgia, northwest of where that moderate area is that was outlined. So we're going to continue to keep an eye out for those flooding concerns. But as it stands with the headlines for today, Hurricane Rafael now forecasted to strengthen into a Category 2 hurricane, which it just did as of the latest advisory, but is going to continue to weaken as it interacts with that wind shear in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Only forecasted to really be a rainmaker here in central Georgia, coming at a very opportune time. It has been a very, very dry stretch, basically over a month, besides a little bit of rainfall we got on Monday morning. So the rain, we definitely do need it, but when you get too much of it all at one time, it definitely can have bad consequences, like the risk of flash flooding. We're going to continue to keep an eye on that as we do get this surge in moisture courtesy of Hurricane Rafael now in the Caribbean.